In this lesson, we will see how it all started. That is, evolution of Security Operation Center. The time was between 2008 and 2010. A malware called Stuxnet terrorized the cyberspace. It is believed to be the first cyber weapon, and it was designed to bring down Iran's nuclear power plant. Stuxnet was one of the most sophisticated cyber attack. The damage caused by Stuxnet did not come to light for several months because it was designed to stay and operate covertly. Not just this attack, several other attacks happened, like the attack on Sony Pictures in 2014, Yahoo attack. This is believed to be the biggest attack in terms of number of user details. Close to 3 billion user accounts were compromised. MasterCard and Visa were compromised in 2012. Subway was targeted in 2012. The US retail giant Target was compromised in the year 2013. All these attacks led the big heads in the industry to start thinking who is safe in the internet. So there were several researches conducted, hundreds of attacks were analyzed, and there were some significant findings. The research and the analysis conducted by various researchers revealed that it took approximately 205 days for the companies to realize they have been compromised. That is, most of the companies got to know about their own cybersecurity breach 7 months after it has happened. Another sad statistic that was identified was in most of these attacks, 80 days before the attack happened, there were some indications or symptoms that an attack would happen. But still, companies were not aware of these indicators. The most depressing knowledge that was uncovered through the postmortem of several attacks is that 67% of the time the attacks were detected by an external entity, which means the so-called high-paid cybersecurity professionals were only 33% effective in detecting a cyber attack. Who were these 67% of the people? These are common customers who reported issues or frauds with their bank account or credit card, etc. When the company or the bank used to investigate these frauds, they would ultimately realize their network has been compromised. After doing further investigation, they would eventually find out it had happened 6 to 8 months ago. To put it on a calendar, let's assume that an attack happened in the beginning of April. It will only be identified by the organization by the mid of November. And upon investigation, the company would realize that the plot for the attack started in the month of January. Again, the numbers 205 days, 80 days are all the industry average. There are some companies that might have detected the attack early, and some companies only got to know about their own compromise years after it had happened. So, the experts in the industry tried to identify the root cause of these concerns, and they found out that lack of visibility was the primary reason for most of the attacks. And that led to an urgent need for security monitoring. Now that we realize the importance of monitoring, the next question that we need to answer is what should we monitor? Computers tell their stories in the form of logs. So it was essential to monitor logs from various servers, security solutions, and network devices. But there were few challenges. As we know, the logs are not easy to read. A typical log looks something like this. The second challenge was that there were no industry standards being followed between various vendors. That is, every vendor had their own way of logging information. Example, a failed login event in Linux would look something like this. And the same login failed event in Windows system looks like this. The third challenge was these logs come in huge volumes. Usually, a typical company with 1,000 users would generate around 25 million logs per day. That is 300 logs per second. Imagine 300 of these per second. It will be humanly impossible to monitor such large volume of data. The solution to these challenges was introduced in the form of a tool called SIEM, Security Information and Event Management. So, what is this SIM tool? For now, let us just think about it like a box that takes in millions of logs and applies some kind of magic to identify few suspicious activities in the network. We will learn about the magic in future lessons. This is wonderful, right? A machine picks up few hundred events of interest out of millions of logs. So let's recap what we have learned so far. There was a problem, which was advanced cyber attacks happening on companies. We understood the root cause, that is, lack of monitoring, and we found the solution, which is to implement SIM solution. It might sound obvious that every company should install a solution like SIM, but it did not happen. Let's consider a real life example. There is a problem, that is, deaths due to motorcycle accidents. Root cause is not wearing helmets, and the solution is to wear helmets. But how many of us really wear helmets for the safety reason? If given a chance, a lot of people would choose not to wear the helmet, citing reasons of hairstyle, freedom, etc. That's why there are rule enforcers. For road safety, the enforcers are the traffic police. In India, we have RTO. In US, there is DMV, and in the UK, it's DVLA. Let's all agree that most people wear helmets in order to avoid paying fines to the traffic police rather than their own safety. In the same way, there are cybersecurity rule enforcers. They are called regulatory compliances. Most of these are global bodies and mostly not for profit. These regulatory compliances define the industry best practices for cybersecurity. Some popular compliance standards include PCI DSS, GDPR, and HIPAA. These bodies made security monitoring mandatory. That's when companies started implementing SIM solution. This is very evident by the business dynamics that happened around 2010 and 2011. Anticipating the demand for SIM solutions, large players like IBM and McAfee acquired other companies that were developing SIM. Like IBM acquired a company called Q1 Labs, and today their SIM is called IBM QRadar. McAfee acquired Nitro Security and rebranded their SIM as McAfee ESM. Splunk, who were into application log monitoring, announced their SIM app called Splunk Enterprise Security. And over the last decade, there are several other companies that has developed SIM solutions. As of 2020, the leaders in SIM technologies are Splunk, IBM QRadar, Exabeam, Securonics, Logarithm, ArcSight, etc. The team that makes use of the SIM tool for security monitoring is called SOC, Security Operations Center. And a person who works in SOC is called as Security Analyst or SOC Analyst. I hope this lesson gave you a fair knowledge on how and why SOC came into existence. In the next lesson, let's learn about the functions of a SOC team.